I often get stopped at the pool or sauna, and someone will point to my muscles and say, "How long have you been training?" And I'll say, 13 years. And they go, "Oh, 13 years." However, not all years are equal when it comes to training. So, why is this year different? Why is this season different? It was interesting to reflect. So, I started CrossFit 2 months postpartum when my second son was born. Got hired as the boot camp instructor, and I had no idea what CrossFit was. Came in and went, whoa, what is this? This is what I want to do. So moved on from instructing boot camp into learning CrossFit and instructing CrossFit. But that first year of training was, if I got more than 4 hours sleep with a new baby and my husband's work schedule worked out, I could make it to the 6 a.m. class maybe twice a week. So progress was slow in that first year, but it gave me a taste for it and I wanted more. We eventually moved closer to the gym, and then I could come more often, and that built into coming 6 days a week and trying to do anything in the extra hours that I could, which was probably terrible form, dropping under cleans and just trying to lift weights without really knowing what I'm doing to progress. So there were a few slow years there, but my hunger was big, and my sights were set on what was called regionals at the time. So in the CrossFit season, there's the Open, which gyms all around the world do. It used to be 5 weeks long, now it's 3 weeks long. And you submit your scores online. From there, you would progress. So at this point, all that you would have the option to progress to is regionals, and they were in person. And the year I made the biggest push for it was 2017. They took 50 people from Canada West. So that year I thought, okay, I'm going all in. I'm going to do whatever it takes to try and make regionals. But looking back, it was not all in. I did not have nearly all the things that I have now. It was just me trying to do extra programming that I would find myself, and without anyone really coaching me. My boys were still quite young. We were homeschooling. There was just a lot of life factors that made it difficult, but I put in the best effort that I could with the circumstances and ended in 52nd place that year. 2 spots away from making my dream. So then I went, okay, I'll hang up my competition hat. I gave it the best shot that I could, and life is just, there's too many wonderful things in life. So 2018 took a big step back from being competitive, and then bit by bit, the itch comes back. There's local competitions. Start signing up for those. They require more training. More friends are training more. Okay, I'll join in. I want to do more. And so the competitive trajectory built again. And that led into some cool things like going to Wadapalooza. That was awesome experience. And just kind of seeing like where this competitive path can take. So I became a master's at 35. So 35 to 39 is first master's category. And then each 5 years it like resets. So now 40 to 44 is the next master's category. So each time you kind of age up, it's your best opportunity because you're the youngest in the group. And so last summer was kind of thinking, hemming and hawing, looking ahead. Okay, I know I turned 40 in April. Is this the year to make a push? And I wasn't sure. Kept kind of putting it off. Like, I know what it takes to get there. Can life support that? But as I got closer, I kind of thought, okay, a lot more things are in line. And my family really just gave the blessing. So my boys are now 13 and 15. They're a lot more independent. My husband gave full support. And so I thought, well, if I'm going to do it, I'm going to do it big. So January, I took the plunge to hire a coach. And this is what has made all the difference this season. So Mayhem Performance Coaching is the group, and Tyler Christoffel is my coach. And that just simplified everything. I think what makes a difference this season is believing in myself enough to hire a coach, to put the finances up front, to say, yeah, I believe in myself, put my dollar where my mouth is. And then 2, now I don't need to second guess everything I'm doing, I can just know that whatever coach says to do, I do. And then I've done everything I need to do, not doing too much or too little. So it takes that second guessing out of it. The process has been interesting. So the initial was eat more food and do less cardio. So took away more Metcons, put in a whole lot of strength training, because that's the whole, is to get stronger. Eat as much as I could without force feeding myself, and then take a lot of stress off. So it actually felt like not doing as much training as I typically would at the beginning. I almost felt like, are we sure? Am I doing enough? But just trusting the process, and bit by bit through it, like, okay, no, I'm feeling more strength. And then other things like ring muscle ups that we didn't even do much of a progression on just started to click and get better. So interesting how it transfers. Even when we're focused on something else, other things get better with it. And then just dialing in habit after habit. So I mentioned in one of our calls that, oh yeah, I went to the sauna last night randomly and it felt really good. And Tyler got excited and said, yeah, do as much sauna as you can. So for the past 3 months, I've been going to the sauna 5 days a week. That's been a big change. Food has, like I said, it's been more and just dialed in. Same breakfast, same pre-workout, post-workout food every day. Sleep has been a huge priority. Made a lot of shifts to get better sleep. Have a sleep mask so it's totally dark, have the right airflow, get to bed at the same time. We have dimming lights in our house, so at 8 p.m. it's getting us ready to have a good sleep routine. Just getting into good schedule there. Accessory work. So that is what I would always skip when I didn't have enough time before, but now it's every single piece that's written, every single piece is done. And there's been huge gains from the accessory work, which is doing pec flies, doing holding a kettlebell upside down at 90 degrees in front of my face and pressing up slowly. So all these kind of smaller movements that really do burn when you do them the right way, and they pay big dividends. Doing accessory work. Mobility. Started doing a mobility program every morning. So pull out the yoga mat, do the mobility. And then overall, I would say it's just putting the intention into every single piece of training. So I think I used to think of it more as okay, I just got to check things off. Let's get through this. Yep, warm-up's good enough. Just get started. But now it's okay, what's the intended stimulus? What am I trying to get out of each piece within the training window? And that takes a whole lot more effort, a whole lot more thinking, but you get a lot more benefit out of training as opposed to just checking it off. So I would say those have been the biggest changes. In order to accommodate those changes, like the rest of life, having a supportive husband and kids, to know when mom gets home and she's tired, they let me relax and they pick up more slack at home with dishes and food and all that kind of stuff. That makes a huge difference. If I was trying to run on high stress and organizing everything for everyone at the same time as I was training, it would not go well. So it really does take a village to get an athlete to the next level. And I'm just so grateful that this season I've gotten to prioritize this and have all these changes. Yeah. So interesting that it somewhat came full circle that now going to the Torian Pro, which is the in-person semifinal, is essentially what regionals used to be. So here I am as a 40-year-old getting to relive the dream that I had in 2017, which I was 31, I think. Yeah, so it's kind of cool. And now it's kids are older and it's the stage of life where it works. And so sometimes a dream is yes, but not yet. And having that patience and, I don't know, just ability to wait is well worth it and pretty fun in the end. So that has been my journey and why this season is different.